Alright everyone, the other day there was a major terrorist attack over in Russia. In Moscow, a concert venue was actually attacked by 4 armed assailants, and they proceeded to slaughter as many civilians as they could lay their hands on. Over 100 killed, by the way, and then somebody threw an incendiary device and the concert hall partially collapsed, actually. Whether this is some sort of false flag or not, or who is responsible, remains to be seen, but ISIS is claiming responsibility for it. It is believable, because under former U.S. policy, so under Trump, not under Joe Biden, you'll note, there's a reason why these sort of attacks are proliferating again. The United States effectively stepped aside and allowed the Russians and the Iranians and Syria, to an extent, to exterminate ISIS as much as they could. And they did that with brutal efficiency. Again, I'm no warmonger, but ISIS, they're not exactly a sane actor. There aren't many insane actors in the world, but they're definitely one of them. And so our foreign policy at the time was, hey, let the Russians handle it. They'll do a good job. They're closer. Logistically, it's easier. They're allied with the Iranians. The Iranians are largely Shia, and ISIS tend to be Wahhabis, so let them exterminate them. Everyone wins. Maybe they can kick them out of North Africa, too. Unfortunately, we failed in the sense of Mali and Burkina Faso and some of those other countries in Northwest Africa. But, and the Russians fucking ground pounded them, basically, along with their allies. And it was very efficient, and it saved the United States a lot of money. It cut ISIS down to size and really debilitated them. But now they're claiming credit for this major attack in Russia. I wonder why the fuck they would hate Russians. Could it be because the Russians and their proxies in the Middle East are the ones basically decimating them? Probably. There might be a little bit of an impetus towards that. Some people were claiming that it might be Ukrainians. The Ukrainian loyalists or anti-Putin nationalists or something like that were responsible. But then ISIS came out and tentatively declared that they were indeed the ones that carried out this attack. Now, at this time, there were 4 attackers, it appears. 3 of them apparently have been detained. I think 1 is still at large. And again, the death toll is over 100 people. It's sort of like a Moscow 9/11 when you really think of it. I'm wondering what the response by the U.S. leadership will be. Well, leadership in name. You know what I mean. Are they going to condemn the attacks, or are they going to say, well, that's the price you pay when you invade Ukraine, or something like that? It might be something smarmy. I'm getting fucking tired of this bullshit. So I'll condemn it, you know. On behalf of the United States, I condemn killing 100 random civilians for absolutely no reason. I would think that'd be a no-brainer. I don't care if they're Russian citizens, U.S. citizens, or fucking North Koreans, but you may hear very little from the Biden administration. Blinken will come out and mumble a statement. Well, it's really, really unfortunate what happened. We have a joint interest in fighting ISIS. It's too bad that we're at odds with one another. Something like that. It's fucking insane. So the concert attack there, this is a major, major terrorist attack. This is not a couple of people were killed by somebody with a machete who then was screaming Allah Akbar or something like that. This is, you know, you burned down the concert venue halfway and slaughtered over 100 people. And so I'm wondering what Russia's response will be. Because Putin, he has a vested interest. It's sort of like what happened with Netanyahu and with Gaza, actually. Netanyahu may have wanted a more measured response to what happened when the paragliders came over. But he didn't have a choice. Politically speaking, the people demanded, effectively, that he go all in. And that's why we have what's happening in Gaza today. I'm wondering what Putin's response will be, because I can imagine that the public in Russia, by and large, will be up in arms over this. And so is Russia going to begin a secondary war in the Middle East, is basically what I'm asking. It's possible. He may be coerced into doing it. Public sentiment may demand it. And of course he wants to stay in power. He's Vladimir Putin. He's kind of obviously liking his role as El Presidente over there in Moscow, so he may be forced, his hand may be forced into doing something in a military fashion. I'm wondering if Iran will get involved again. They'll probably pit bomb more ISIS targets or something like that. I mean, they've been doing that anyway, but having some sort of a surge. And then I'm wondering, well, because it's going to be expensive and take troops away from the front line in Ukraine, would the U.S. or some Western power have a vested interest in causing this to happen? I'm just saying, this sort of intrigue does actually happen. I can be as pro-West, as pro-NATO as I want. I am well aware of the fact that psyops occur. I'm well aware of the fact that propaganda is put out. And I'm well aware of the fact that false flags also exist. It's sort of like, who false flagged? Was it Putin to get something going in the Middle East, or was it the West trying to fuck with Putin? The world may never know, and probably won't. It'll be like a Gulf of Tonkin incident or something like that. But ISIS has declared that they're responsible, and you don't really want to do that with the Russians. If you do that with the United States, again, your militants probably, they get detained briefly, interrogated, and then sent across the border into Mexico or something like that so they can go live out their merry lives in Central America. In Russia, you get tortured. It's a little bit different. It's the tale of two worlds, basically speaking. That's about all. Peace out.